Hi guys, welcome back. In today's episode, I'll show you how I made my own body armor over a number of years and how this system has evolved and matured into what we have today, which is this vest I have here. So let me take you back a few years. In about 2017, a close family friend of ours, Barry, was brutally murdered on his farm. And this really shook us here on our farm because he was a police reservist. He had more security than anyone we knew, better security. He had dogs, he had an extensive firearm collection, and if they could get to him, they could get to anyone. Anyway, not to go into specifics, but it was a bit more complicated than your standard farm invasion. There were people who shouldn't have been there, who had keys, and it was quite a long, complicated affair. The point being that at the time we thought, we're really vulnerable here on the farm. What can we do if we're faced with a farm invasion? Because, when someone close to you is brutally murdered, it really does shock you. We were not in a financial position to just go out and buy a whole bunch of guns or new equipment. And buying guns in South Africa is not easy because even if you have the money, it can take you years to get a license. I have a firearm for self-defense, as many of you know who have watched this channel before, but it's a handgun, and when you're faced with multiple attackers, one guy with a handgun really needs something just to up his chances and be a bit of a force multiplier. So what I thought of was I can maybe make my own body armor. We have some pieces of quite thick steel lying around this place. If I can put steel between me and the bullets, at least it gives me a little bit of an edge over your ordinary guy, and might just give me that extra second to survive or to counterattack or something like that. So I started with a system of body armor. I found a piece of steel, and this video is going to explain to you the system I came up with and how that's matured into what I have, and I'll show you how effective it is and maybe what you can do to just increase your odds in chances of a home invasion or a farm invasion. It's really important to me. One of the reasons I invented this system was because I live in a flat that's a little bit separate from our main house. So if the main house was under attack and my family was under siege, I would have to cross the driveway, possibly at night, and come to aid them, and in that process I may take fire from multiple attackers. So having some steel between me and them, it just evens the odds that little bit. But let's get started and see how it goes. It started off with me going through some old SADF army gear Barry had given me some time before his death. I'd always liked the Kevlar helmet, as it should hopefully stop a handgun round, but without an assault rifle, I didn't have much use for the chest rigging. On closer inspection, I saw, however, that there was a pouch in the back that looked like a place for ballistic plate. I scrounged around our sheds here on the farm and found an old steel plate that was rusted and quite heavy. After much cutting with my angle grinder, I had a number of smaller steel plates, the largest of which was about the size of an ice cream tub lid. This fit perfectly into the plate carrier behind the magazine pouches. It wasn't great, but it might hopefully protect my heart and lungs. But the first thing I had to test was to see if the steel was strong enough to stop a bullet and whether this work would actually be worthwhile. I wish I had footage of these tests, but I don't. However, I can report that the plates will easily stop a 9mm round, a 45 ACP, and a 38 special without even being dented. With that said, however, a 303, which is a 30 caliber round with a full metal jacket military round, it went straight through the plates, made a hole without any difficulty. So with this, I can presume to be protected against handguns. Since handguns are the most common weapons used during crime, that will be something that will be quite useful. Obviously, rifle fire can happen, but that's more for cash in transit heists, and hopefully I won't be facing men with rifles in the foreseeable future. So this really does increase my chances in a firefight, but it was still very rough and a work in progress. So the first iteration, or Mark 1 of my body armor, was this amalgamation of my pouches and another steel plate, also about the size of an ice cream tub, in a reversed fanny pack. So it would protect my groin and my lower stomach. There were some gaps by my kidneys, so I sewed in two plates about the size of my hands in like a piece of denim where I made pouches, and this connected the ammo pouches to the fanny pack, and that was my body armor for many years, for about 2 years or so. That was how I had it. It didn't look very nice, it looked a bit like a suicide bomber's pack, but hopefully it gave me some protection, although there were quite a few significant gaps in the whole situation, but those gaps also helped me to move, and I was just hoping for the best. With my steel plates protecting some of my vital organs, and my ballistic helmet protecting the top of my head, I was looking pretty good, especially as I had not paid a cent for any of it. I had some steel left over, and when I was playing around with my canvas wallet, I thought, if I make steel credit cards and put them in the 3 slots on the 3 sides of the wallet where there's slots for cards, then the wallet could fit around my head and it would protect my lower face and jaw. So I made these 3 steel plates, cut them up with an angle grinder, and I would just need to cut the cards and fit some straps. I did this using buckles and straps from an old headlamp and a backpack. With my plates securely in place and some foam padding taped to the back, I could now fit my face mask to protect my lower face and have complete protection of my head, with the exception of my eyes. It's not that comfortable, but post-COVID you realize no face mask is all that comfortable. Getting shot in the face may sting a bit from the impact, but it's better than a 45 ACP to the brainstem. Seeing as the plates had no dents in them when shot with handguns, I think I could still keep on fighting after being hit. And so that was my setup until a few months ago. It all changed when I bought a welding machine and my dad got into sewing and working with materials and making bags and those kinds of things. I was never happy with the significant gaps in my armor, and I had no back protection. Also, I looked like a suicide bomber. I had used existing pouches and cut the things to fit the size of the pouches and not necessarily to the best size in terms of protection. So now that I was going to fix my armor and make a new set, a new piece of body armor that I could go out with in an emergency, and it would look like it's a piece of body armor that someone else was wearing. It wouldn't make me look like some guy from Mad Max or something like that. So I decided I wanted a proper looking plate carrier from which I could attend emergencies without raising too many eyebrows. I wanted some back protection and full protection to my torso without any gaps. So what I did is I welded the smaller plates together into this big front plate, and then welded even the other plates together to make a back plate. So now I'm pretty much protected with this setup completely on my torso, my back, and my face and head with the helmet. When I put my chest webbing over it, that just holds the body armor in place, makes it a little bit less flappy on the sides, but even without the chest webbing, it works perfectly well, and I'm pretty happy with the end result. So guys, if you want to make some body armor, if you have steel lying around, it really is quite easy. You just find yourself some steel, you do the sewing, you make a plate carrier, and you put the steel plates in. Obviously it's quite heavy, it's not Kevlar, but if you can't afford a bulletproof vest, it's not impossible to make your own. This one will withstand handgun bullets, and I'm pretty happy with the end result. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, guys.